BLUELOCK is the dream of Jinpachi Ego come to life, a place where the best striker in the world can be manufactured. However, the future of Japanese soccer, as well as BLUELOCK in general, all relies on the merits of a single person, that being Jinpachi Ego. Before I get into this video, spoilers for the BLUELOCK manga, as I am almost positive that the statements made in this video are what will happen in the story. So if you are not caught up to the latest chapters of the BLUELOCK manga, please click off this video right now. Now, in order to fully explain Ego's backstory, we have to analyze several sections from the story that are important for formulating a reasonable conclusion. I surprised myself there for a little bit. I used a lot of big words. Now, first off, let's look at the BLUELOCK project itself. BLUELOCK is a soccer sanctuary where Jinpachi Ego can mass train players into creating a striker on par with Noa. However, for many interactions with the board of directors for Japanese soccer, there seems to be a bit of tension between the marketers and Ego, which was never truly explained why there's a lot of tension. There are also several times where the BLUELOCK project has been threatened to be shut down. However, Ego's challenges to them always seem to postpone the closure. These gambles, also at surface level, appear to provide the board of directors with the advantage, which explains their eagerness to accept the challenge, meaning BLUELOCK's failure provides them with something important that they want. This idea is also proven by this conversation between Ego and the head of directors. The lead of the board of directors says that Ego must remember his promise, and Ego says that he didn't forget, basically proving that the board will get something that they deeply value if BLUELOCK fails. And judging by their personality, it has to be something that would make them a large amount of money. Now just sit back and think for 1 second. What would the board of directors want that would provide them with a lot of money? Because as we've seen, they only care about soccer as a business and to make money. Keep that thought in the back of your mind. Okay, next point. The next things to look at are Ego's subtle hints during his conversations with Henri. Ego's subtle comments, such as the one where he's constantly eating the same meal, explains how he was on a strict dietary regimen, which limited him from eating these specific menu items. This means that Ego's diet was one of strict restriction in order to maintain his body type. This was mostly common knowledge for readers, as is this next point. During a discussion between Noa and Isagi, we learn that Ego and Noa are brothers in arms, and that Noa considers him to be his rival. Now there are a few things that you can make out from this, but the main one being that Ego's diet was due to him being a former soccer player, one that was acknowledged by the #1 striker in the world. And the last thing to point out is that at the start of the series, Ego displays Japan's current national team. Now, as this obviously is different from the U20 team that we know, we can assume that it's the age group just above the U20 team, which would be the one to compete against Noa, which makes sense because Ego's dream is to create a striker who can rival or surpass Noa. Now you can say it's because the mangaka didn't have the designs for the U20 team just yet. However, I believe that this is because Ego plans to create a striker who will one day join the national team that would compete and defeat Noa, being his rival, which Noa even calls him a twisted football fanatic who's obsessed with creating the world's #1 striker. So now let's identify every key action that BLUELOCK's story has revealed to us. Number 1. Jinpachi Ego and Noa are rivals as well as brothers in arms. Number 2. The Japanese soccer board of directors are hoping for BLUELOCK's collapse, as that will allow them to receive something from Ego. And third, Ego plans on creating a striker to not only participate on the U20 team, but for the national team to compete against Noa and hopefully defeat him. So with everything that we've identified here, I hope that you're coming to the same conclusion that I am. If the BLUELOCK project fails, Jinpachi Ego will be forced to return to the Japanese national team. Yep. You heard me right. Ego will play soccer again if BLUELOCK fails. Now let me explain how everything lines up with this conclusion. Ego and Noa are considered to be rivals as well as brothers in arms. Now if you interpret this as that they played together, you could be wrong. See, the term brothers in arms doesn't always mean the same side. It typically does, however, not in this case. Ego and Noa are brothers in arms in terms of two incredibly skilled soccer players. They are fighting the same war of winning the World Cup as two very skilled players on the field. Now, from what we know about Noa's backstory, he was most likely not on a team with Ego, as Noa grew up in France and played for the France national team, as well as a smaller Germany league being Bayern München, while Ego would have played for the Japanese league. Now, assuming that these two were playing against each other during the National League, and Noah ended up winning, this could have led Ego to realize that nobody on the pitch was playing as egotistical as he or Noah was, which led to Ego's loss and his desire to start the Blue Lock project. It also explains why in his mind, the best soccer player is the biggest egoist. And Noah, recognizing that nobody was as skilled as Ego on the Japan team, and actually was a difficult challenge for him, would be the only reason why Noah considers Ego to be his rival. Another thing that would make sense is how Ego would know so much about soccer and how to produce an egoist able to become the #1 striker. It's because he played against and was acknowledged by the #1 striker. He, as an egoist himself, wanted a player to surpass both him and Noah. And another thing, it would explain why the Japanese soccer board of directors wants Blue Lock to fail so badly. They've clearly established that they only care about making money, and if Japan's legendary player Jinpachi Ego were to return to the field, it would bring in so much money, because everybody loves a comeback story. And the last point that explains this is how Blue Lock was even built in the first place. I mean, if Ego was just some random person, how would he have convinced the board to build the Blue Lock building, but also invest so much money into this project, unless he was a valuable asset that the board wanted to use to make more money? But what do you guys think of this theory? Because I personally think it's one of the best ones that I've ever thought up, so let me know down below in the comments. Also, I'm currently now in college, so videos will probably return to being once a week uploads on the weekend, but I will definitely try to keep them going as often as possible. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe for more content just like this.